Okay, so we can hear you now. All right.
Ready for me to start?
We are ready for you to start, so go ahead and introduce yourself, and we will put your, we've got your pitch here in the folder, and we'll go ahead and put it on screen.
Okay. So I don't need to do share screen or anything?
You can probably better flip into share screen so he can flip through.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and share your screen, and that way we can flip through at your timing.
Let me make sure I got the right screen up. Share.
Yes, success.
Okay, so you see the PowerPoint?
We do. All right.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Antonio Tango Thomas presenting Rubicon.
Hello, everybody. As they say, my name is Antonio Tango Thomas, and I'm in the DC area on the East Coast, and I want to present to you today the game Rubicon, the dossier. And the key concept in the game is gameplay literally requires hacking a computer system. So I'm in for my arrow key. All right, so give me 1 second. Okay, I got the slide up. There we go. So, why am I doing this? I'm a professor and I teach a lot of college classes, and when I start to notice that as I'm teaching these classes, always throughout their class, I see a lot of students have their hands up. Why do they have their hands up? It's because oftentimes I have a hard time of getting the students to read the text, because a lot of times they're busy with whatever they're doing in their lives matter. So if we look at this picture, we will start to notice that not only are students not reading the text, but the textbook or supplemental academic material, but also during class, they're doing a lot of different things. So if you look at the arrows, we can see that 2 students on the far left are talking, another student's reading a book, another student's got their head down, they're looking at their cell phone. So my goal is, how do I get them to read the academic course material? Because it appears in some of the research I've been doing that traditional textbooks aren't working. And then in the textbook industry, as well as professors, we've gone to other types of books. And so what I'm trying to do is combine textbooks and digital games, and that's what it is. And in the education field, it's called digital game-based learning. The reason why I'm doing this also is that when you look at the research, it says in about a 4-year period that the majority of students will spend in that 4 years, 47% of their time, or about 10,000 hours, playing video games. However, when it comes to studying, they only spend about 2,500 hours and 12% of their time actually studying. So the goal is try to combine these 2 things to get together. And so these are the things that I've noticed. So in this particular game, how are we going to do it? We're going to do it because I'm focusing on creating 3 different levels. My concept artist has created this, but the 3 level elements in this game is that there's some type of environmental barrier. It could be this gate that you see on the left-hand side, or it could also be a bridge, a door, etc. You cannot proceed unless you lift the barrier. Well, how do you lift the barrier? Well, you go throughout the gaming environment and you find these clues. And that's what these triangles are. And on the triangle clues is the information. It just happens to be academic content. And then as you're going around this 3D world and it's a first-person shooter, you come to a computer console and you have to be able to make an inference from the information that you found and plug it into the machine in order to proceed. So I can tell that you know the information if you're able to play the game and proceed. How does that look? So the key game mechanic inside of this game is what I call the hacking system. And there's 3 different types of system. There's a timer system, so when you log in, there's a countdown timer. And you have exactly 3 minutes to input the information. The answer system is the information for the three fragments of cubes that you put in onto the screen. If you get a successful hack, it will raise the barrier, open the door, etc., and allow you to proceed. Unsuccessful hack, enemy comes and drives you out of the area, and then you go back, review your notes, and try to do it again. And the reset system is resetting the system to go back to normal and reset the countdown timer. So if we get an example of gameplay, basically you run across the barrier, you grind out finding the little clues, and then you hack into the system, and then if it's successful, you're rewarded. And then you kind of do it again, and then you get a level upgrade. So what does that kind of look like? Well, here's a concept artist of an environment. So this little stick man is running around the different area, finding all the different clues. Once they find those clues, then they come up to the computer system, and then they hack into the computer system. And once they log into the computer system, whatever the category, then they will come to a screen like this. And I happen to use photosynthesis because of biology. And so now they put in the correct information, and then they continue. If they don't, there's a response. The production schedule, you can see right here on where we're going. So right now, I'm creating the team. However, I do have a couple team members and stuff on the team and where we're already starting to work on little aspects, and especially the hacking system for the game mechanic. These are the people that are on the team so far, but I need kind of everybody. So I really need some lead artists, some lead 3D artists, and some programmers, and just some support to make artists. Here's my contact information on the Discord channel. And I actually have longer slides, but just in case you have questions, then we can get into, other examples, so that way I can answer your questions if you want to see the different things we want to do. That's it. If you have any questions, then I'll show you examples of what I'm looking for.
Okay. So Tango, we're gonna please leave that slide up. We're gonna quickly go around the room and ask if there's any questions. Any questions
Yes.
regarding this game? Yes.
The topics or the academic material, is it about a specific subject, or it could be any subject, or is it specific about cybersecurity?
Did you hear that answer? That question?
No, I can barely hear it.
The question was is the content for the academic material specific, or can it be any content?
The concept is to turn a video game into a learning management system like Blackboard. So the key is you can put any content inside of this game. It's just creating the template so that way educators, like your faculty members, can put biology, accounting, whatever information. This project is actually a step up, a more advanced, what I'm trying to do from previous research that I have done. So I've used a cheaper gaming system to see if it works, and I did it in a study and it works. So it's just any subject can go in there, math, accounting, whatever.
I have a follow-up question for you, Tango. Will you have a back-end platform that goes that is launched in concert with this game to prove the online learning course material development aspect?
Yes, that is my true background. I'm an instructional designer. I have a degree in education technology. So that aspect of the academic learning, it will be there. And so my argument is that the reason why a lot of education games don't work is because they're simply boring. They're 80% reading a bunch of stuff and 20% gameplay. So the goal in this game is to flip it and make it 80 to 90% gameplay, and then pack 20%, put 100% of the academic content in that other 20%. And so like I said, I've got a published research article that's available that talks about like this works. So now it's just moving it to the next phase.
Okay. Are you going to use are you going to use an open source online learning module like Moodle to power this, or are you going to be building one from scratch?
Actually, what goes in there is just placing the academic content. I already got permission to use a psychology chapter in a textbook, and so it's taking that content, putting it in the game. So where do we put the content? On those little objects that you find, we put it on the walls, we put it in the audio. So a lot of this stuff will be what I call subliminal learning, and subconsciously, while some of the information will be presented like right in your face.
Other questions? Okay, that's it. Tango Thomas, everybody.